Brazil is now approaching a grim milestone in its fight against COVID-19. The second worst affected nation on the planet is closing in on 2 million cases of the virus and 75,000 deaths. The country reported nearly 42,000 new infections and 1,300 new deaths yesterday, according to Johns Hopkins University. Many Brazilians are protesting President Bolsonaro's handling of the outbreak, which has claimed 74,133 lives. Jake Spring joins me now. He's a correspondent for Reuters, and he joins me from Brasilia, Brazil. Good morning. Thank you for being with us. So describe what it's like in Brazil right now as the country nears 2 million cases of this virus.
Thanks for having me on, Marcia. Right now in Brazil, like you say, we're headed quick towards 2 million. We'll probably be there in a couple of days. But despite this, and despite the fact that the curve hasn't been shown to be bending downward, much of the country is reopening for business. And while there are guidelines in place, you should wear masks and things like that, they're not always being followed everywhere. We've seen in Rio de Janeiro, some people have been packing the beaches. And as a result of this type of behavior, we've seen a spike in cases in a lot of places, doctors are saying. So we're still, the cases are increasing rapidly here.
So do you feel that, Jake, there is a lack of messaging from health officials, from the president, or do you feel that people aren't taking it seriously despite the skyrocketing numbers?
It's a bit of both. I would say at the top level, President Jair Bolsonaro has tried to downplay the virus and said that the economic damage of everyone staying inside is worse than the damage of the virus itself. So there's been some confusion at the top on the messaging. At the local level, I feel like officials have been much more strong in encouraging people to follow these rules and imposing lockdowns and that sort of thing. So, I mean, there's really a divide. Some people take it very seriously and some people follow Bolsonaro's line. There's a strong base of support for Bolsonaro still, and I would say that they have been taking the virus less seriously.
And we should remind our viewers, Bolsonaro has tested positive for COVID-19. So, Jake, tell us more about this link between Brazil's meat plant industry and COVID-19. Are a lot of workers infected?
Yeah, it's a similar situation to what you've seen in the U.S. There have been thousands of meat plant workers testing positive for coronavirus in Brazil. Coronavirus favors lower temperatures and more humidity and people working in tight spaces, and that basically describes a meat plant in a nutshell. And it's really hit the south of the country hard. I saw some numbers late last month that 25% of the cases in one state, Rio Grande do Sul, were in meat plants. And now you've seen that also starting to spread up to the center-west, more like Brazil's, the U.S. Midwest of Brazil, where we've been seeing it hit plants up there. One plant had more than 1,000 cases, a quarter of their workers. So it's really hit meat plants hard.
And what about where the cases are? Who is getting infected?
I mean, it started out as an upper-class disease of people who were going to Europe and coming back. Now it's been really spreading, and the fear is it's spreading to more poor neighborhoods, more rural areas, spreading to the interior more, where people are farther from medical care and farther from hospitals. So, I mean, really now it's hitting everybody, and it's spreading to, poor areas that have less good care.
Jake Spring, he's a Reuters correspondent. Jake, appreciate your reporting and your time with us. We'll speak with you again.